They say weddings are supposed to be the happiest day of your life. For me, it was bittersweet. I stood there in my white dress, the lace glistening under the soft afternoon sun. My heart pounded with excitement, love, and disappointment. Because as I glanced over the crowd of familiar faces, the two people I most wanted to see were absent: my parents. My name is Alina, and this is the story of how I fell in love, got married, and nearly lost my family in the process. It all started 2 years ago. The summer heat was unbearable that year. I remember sitting in my tiny apartment trying to cool off with a fan that barely worked. My roommate Jenna was sprawled on the couch scrolling through her phone. "Hey, did you hear about Sophia's promotion?" Jenna asked. Sophia, my older sister, the golden child. I rolled my eyes. Of course. Mom called me at 6 a.m. to tell me all about it. Jenna chuckled. She never changes, does she? "So, what's new with you?" "Nothing much," I replied, grabbing my coffee cup. "Same old job, same old life." But things were about to change. A week later, I met Ethan. It was one of those random encounters that only seem to happen in movies. I had spilled coffee on my blouse and rushed into a nearby coffee shop to clean up. As I struggled with napkins and a water bottle, a kind voice behind me asked, "Need some help?" I turned to see a tall man with kind eyes and a warm smile. Yeah, thanks," I mumbled, embarrassed. He helped me clean up and we started chatting. His name was Ethan, and he was in town visiting his family. We ended up sitting together, talking for hours. By the time we left the coffee shop, I had his number saved in my phone. Ethan and I quickly became inseparable. He was everything I didn't know I needed: supportive, kind, funny. He made me feel seen in a way I never had before. But there was one problem: my parents. My parents' world revolved around Sophia. She was their pride and joy, a successful lawyer, engaged to a doctor, and the epitome of perfection. I, on the other hand, was the disappointment. I had a decent job as a graphic designer, but it wasn't the high-powered career they had envisioned for me. When I told them about Ethan, they were indifferent. My mother's response was, "That's nice, dear. So, have you talked to Sophia lately?" It hurt, but I was used to it. Ethan proposed 6 months later. We were at our favorite park, sitting by the lake. The sun was setting, casting a golden glow over the water. He pulled out a small velvet box and opened it, revealing a simple, elegant ring. "Alina, will you marry me?" Tears welled up in my eyes. Yes! We hugged, kissed, and laughed. It was perfect. But as the reality of planning a wedding set in, so did my anxiety about my family. I called my parents that night. "Mom, Dad, I have some news." "What is it, dear?" my mum asked, her tone distracted. "Ethan proposed. We're getting married." Silence. Finally, my dad spoke. "Oh, well, that's unexpected." "Unexpected?" I repeated, my heart sinking. "We thought Sophia would get married first," my mum added. Despite their lackluster response, I forged ahead with the wedding plans. Ethan and I wanted a small, intimate ceremony. We chose a beautiful garden venue, sent out invitations, and picked out our outfits. But as the wedding day approached, my parents became increasingly distant. They rarely answered my calls and avoided conversations about the wedding. A week before the wedding, my mum called. "Alina, we won't be able to make it to your wedding." "What? Why?" I asked, stunned. "Sophia has a big case coming up and we need to support her." Tears streamed down my face. "You're skipping my wedding because of Sophia's work." "It's important to her," my mum said, as if that justified everything. Despite my parents' absence, the wedding was beautiful. Our friends and family surrounded us with love and support. Ethan held my hand tightly, reassuring me that we were building our own family now. But the pain lingered. Months later, Sophia reached out. "Can we talk?" she asked. Reluctantly, I agreed. We met at a coffee shop. "I had no idea they were skipping your wedding," Sophia began. "If I had known, I would have stopped them." I sighed. "It's not just about the wedding. It's always been about you." Sophia looked down. "I know. I've always felt guilty about it, but it wasn't my fault." "No, it wasn't," I admitted. "But it's time things change." Slowly, things began to change. My parents apologized, though it took time for me to fully forgive them. Sophia and I grew closer, learning to support each other without competition. And as Ethan and I welcomed our first child, I realized that family isn't just about blood. It's about the people who stand by you, through thick and thin. Looking back, I'm grateful for everything I've been through. It made me stronger, more resilient. And while my parents' absence on my wedding day will always hurt, it no longer defines me, because I've built my own version of happiness. one filled with love, support, and endless possibilities.